Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. Today's Tuesday, February 17th. The latest college basketball rankings for this week have come out, and we're going to take a quick look right now at notable updated trends and ATS results throughout the top 25. In the top 5, top-ranked Kentucky finally broke their 5-game ATS losing streak with a big win and cover over South Carolina, and if you've been watching my individual team previews, you might have bet Kentucky in that game. I did specifically predict that I thought a cover by Kentucky was likely. I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just saying I did call that one. But going forward, Kentucky probably won't continue to be a good auto fade as they were for a couple of weeks. But again, as awesome as Kentucky really is, the market has them rated accurately. They've been just 50-50 ATS overall this year, and they're probably going to be 50-50-ish against the spread for the rest of the regular season. Then Virginia began life temporarily without star guard Justin Anderson, and they do appear to be overvalued at the moment, as I anticipated in my team preview of them last week. So I think I'd continue to start out at least leaning on betting against Virginia in upcoming weeks, but with a very careful eye, of course, towards market adjustments. Also, Gonzaga notably had two pretty comfortable unders last week after being an overtrender on the season, and that has me thinking that maybe Gonzaga might be a good bet on unders as the regular season winds down. Then looking at teams ranked 6 through 10, Villanova continues their awesome steamrolling, winning both straight up and against the spread. They covered all 3 of their games last week, and they're now 18-7 against the spread on the year. A market adjustment, of course, is possible between now and the end of the regular season, but in my team preview for Villanova, I said I thought they'd have value in the Seton Hall game, which they did, and I also suggested they might have value in their upcoming Marquette game, which I still think they might. Beyond that, though, it's just a matter of if and how much the market catches up. But as of right now, they've covered their last 7 games in a row, all in the Big East. And we're seeing similar results from both Arizona and Utah in the Pac-12. They went a combined 3-1 against spread last week, and Arizona's now 7-1 ATS over their last 8 games, and Utah's 5-2 ATS over their last 7. I did preview vids for both those teams, and I did say that I thought they were both more likely than not to maintain betting value to the end of the regular season, but we do have to watch out for their lines getting too inflated, and Utah's 2 games last week are a perfect illustration of how that can happen. Utah played Stanford and Cal both at home, and Stanford and Cal are right next to each other in the standings, and Utah beat both of them by the same margin, about 15 points. But the spread for the first game was 10.5, so Utah got a decent cover. Then with the second game, though, it jumped all the way to 17.5, and Utah lost that one against the spread. So there could be line inflation like that with both Arizona and Utah in upcoming games, similar to what caused Kentucky's recent ATS losing streak. Then with Kansas, in my team preview of Kansas, I said that I thought they might be a good bet at home and a good fade on the road. And this past week, they did cover their home game and they lost their road game against the spread. And that is how I'd continue to lean with Kansas going forward. Then looking at 11 through 15, Louisville continues to be shaky against the spread. They split their 2 games last week, and they have covered 4 out of their last 5, but they're still 9-13-2 against the spread on the year, and with a particularly bad ATS record at home. And considering how iffy they can be on offense at any time, Louisville's still a team I have my eye on right now as one likely to continue to be overvalued. And then North Carolina, after their strong start to the year against the spread, continued their ATS collapse in conference play with another ATS loss last week, and that brings them now to 2-8-1 against the spread over their last 11 games. So they've clearly been overvalued over the past month and a half, but that's not necessarily likely to continue. It's probably best to see what the line is for the upcoming Duke game and how that game plays out, and then revisit UNC. And then the 2 MVC powerhouses, Wichita State and Northern Iowa, continued last week as they have been all year. Northern Iowa, a good bet and undervalued. Wichita State just 50-50 against the spread and appropriately valued. Northern Iowa got 2 more covers last week. They're now 8-1-3 against the spread over their last 12. And Wichita State played 2 games where the closing spreads were exactly dead on with the final score. And my sense is that going forward, Wichita State's probably going to have a bit of fade value leading up to the regular season finale against Northern Iowa. Then looking at 16 through 20, Maryland finally got a cover. They broke their 6th game against the spread losing streak with a near-pick line at lower-tier Penn State. And Oklahoma finally got an ATS loss that broke their 5-game ATS winning streak. Oklahoma, though, has a great ATS record at home, and I do expect them to have some overall value in their 3 remaining regular season home games. And Arkansas might be a team really to look to for line value going forward. They're shooting up in the national rankings, and they've also covered their last 5 games in a row, mostly by comfortable margins. margins, and I think that's more likely than not to continue, unless, of course, the market makes a significant adjustment, which might not happen here because of who Arkansas is and the point where we are in the season right now. Then rounding out the bottom of the rankings this week, West Virginia did finally get a cover in that exciting home win over Kansas, but their 4 games before that were all big margin ATS losses, and I suspect they're probably going to have some more ATS struggles the rest of the way in the regular season. And VCU dropped to number 25 this week, and they may be headed out of the top 25 and towards further value against the spread as a fade. VCU's lost their last 2 home games straight up, and that's not at all allowed, of course, for a team ranked in the top 25. VCU's 3-5 against spread over their last 8, and I'm thinking they're probably going to be 50-50 ATS at best going forward. And that's a look at some notable ATS trends for teams in the top 25 in college basketball as of February 17th.